Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the weekly MMA Cycles Market Update. I'm Gianni DePoci, your host, and today is Wednesday, the 19th of March, 2025. It's Fed Day, and we're going to have the Federal Reserve's announcement on the next rate decision. The market's expecting them to stay put, which I expect them to do as well. But what interests me the most, observing from a geocosmic standpoint, is what Fed Chair Powell has to say during this Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde period. So let's go ahead and jump into the charts and look and see what's going on here in the market in the near term. So far, we are seeing stocks rally higher. You are seeing the NASDAQ lead. We're looking at the Dow right now, but we have now rallied a couple of days. We're on the fourth day of this rally right now, but the high is in the second day. Our model suggests that the trend has turned down, especially since we took out the lows from early November and early January. And we're not quite at the point where we could see a significant reversal. That being said, bear markets are notorious for experiencing some of the sharpest rallies, and that's because of short covering. You have to understand that when someone sells a market short, they are guaranteed to be a future buyer because to close out that position, they have to buy it back. But, as we look at the geocosmics, we just entered Mercury retrograde. That was this past Saturday on the 15th. And today, on the Fed meeting day, in addition to having Mercury and Venus both being retrograde, we have Sun conjunct Neptune. So I think there's going to be a lot of discussions on the state of inflation. Neptune, can also fuel irrational exuberance or hysteria. So we'll see what Powell does to this market. And then over the weekend, we do have the Sun set to move into a conjunction with retrograding Mercury. So we are seeing retrograding Venus. We are seeing Mercury, Venus, and Neptune all highlighted here as you see the NASDAQ. This looks to be a consolidation of the losses, not exactly the most bullish price action we've ever seen. And, the big thing, again, continues to be the Sun-Saturn square. And the third and final aspect will be on June 15th, which, interestingly, is lining up to potentially be the last or the next time the Fed cuts rates. So we'll see today if the timetable gets moved up to the May meeting. But right now, stocks not out of the woods yet, but don't rule out an additional rally that ultimately could lead to a lower high. We are still seeing gold hit new all-time highs. Not as exciting to the upside yet today, but we'll see if it gets moving after Powell. Silver due for a temporary top. We'll see how far and how long this pullback lasts, but it is looking very bullish for the most part. And if gold continues its breakout at some point, we would look for silver to continue. The GDX gold mining ETF, you can zoom out here and see how it really is just starting to accelerate to the upside. You can take a look at the monthly chart here, and it's now trading at levels not seen since 2012. So a 13-year high in GDX really shows how there's a lot of buying activity going on in precious metal miners. Let's take a look at crude oil, seeing a little bit of a rebound here today, but we're still looking for that long-term low to play out, and preferably if we are going to take out that May 2023 low, it would be better for it to happen per the geocosmic side of things while Saturn is still in Pisces. Now, Saturn's going to move into Aries in just a couple of months, but then it's going to retrograde back into Pisces later this year. So things could get interesting on the inflation front. But rest assured, if crude oil continues to break down, it's going to open the door for the Fed to cut rates aggressively. Now, if we take a look at bond markets and use TLT, the ETF, the long-term bond ETF, it's been kind of quiet here. We do think that we're coming up off of a cyclical bottom. We looked at some of the Federal Reserve charts, and it still is pointing to some more accommodative monetary policy. So again, today, Powell's testimony will be important, but we've been talking about this. A lot of the exciting action seems to be going on overseas, starting with China having a record start to the year, and even the German market, looking at EWG, seeing a little bit of selling today. It's been the first time in a while since we have seen U.S. stocks up and international stocks down on the same day, because again, the theme year to date has been international stocks outperforming. So we're going to keep monitoring that situation very closely. And last but certainly not least, let's take a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are seeing modest rallies. The big question, of course, is whether the intermediate term cycle low is complete. The criteria for a low have been satisfied, but the rebound off of that low has been anything but convincing yet. Bitcoin only up a little bit more than 2%. Ethereum, though, seeing a pretty good bid today. But again, this could just be short covering. It is up almost 6%. But if this thing starts to run to the upside, just know that we have satisfied that criteria for a bottom. And I think that Sun conjunct retrograding Venus over the weekend could give us a little bit more insight in terms of the price action, whether a low could be complete or not. So that's what we're looking at right now. Thank you so much for joining. Please hit the subscribe button and the like button. We do weekly updates on building out the schedule for the coming months on our lineup of special guests who I think you will be very excited about. We're going to have another one on next week, an old friend of ours here at MMA. Looking forward to having this individual on. In terms of announcements, we did just publish the monthly cycles report that came out this past week. Next week, we have the Shanghai report and the MMA tech report. Vipka Hell's the editor of the tech report, and it's been spot on lately, so I would encourage you to check that out. You can get a copy of the first publication for free. So just let us know if you want to see, and then stay tuned for a big announcement coming on MMTA, the Merriman Market Timing Academy, set to reopen for enrollment in the not so distant future. So I'll be keeping you up to date on that and looking forward to the next few weeks here together. So that's all for now, everyone. Thank you so much. See you same time, same place next week.